You think you know how brutal slavery was in Jamaica? Wait till you hear what they really did on the plantations. Jamaica's plantation system was built on a foundation of unimaginable cruelty. The punishments inflicted on enslaved Africans were not simply meant to discipline, but to break their spirit and enforce absolute control. These acts of terror were designed to remind every enslaved person that resistance or defiance could lead to unbearable suffering or death. Physical mutilation was common and often performed in public. Enslaved people who tried to escape could have their ears cut off, their noses slit, or their Achilles tendons severed so they could never run again. Some were branded with hot irons on their faces or bodies as a permanent mark of ownership and shame. The purpose was not only to punish the individual, but to terrorize others who might think of following. The use of the iron muzzle was one of the most dehumanizing punishments ever recorded. This metal contraption locked over the head and sealed the mouth shut, supposedly to prevent enslaved workers from eating sugarcane in the fields. Many died wearing it, unable to eat, drink, or speak. The image of a person suffering under such a device captures the cold brutality of the system more powerfully than words ever could. Even death was used as a weapon of control. The bodies of executed enslaved people were displayed in iron cages at crossroads or plantation boundaries, a practice known as gibbeting. These corpses were left to rot in the sun for weeks or months, serving as gruesome warnings. The message was simple and cruel: submission or death. In the early 1800s, the treadmill was introduced under the guise of being a more humane alternative to flogging. In reality, it was another form of torture. Men and women were forced to walk endlessly on large rotating wheels until their feet bled and their bodies collapsed from exhaustion. The pain and humiliation of this so-called punishment left lasting scars on both body and mind. After brutal whippings that tore flesh from bone, enslavers often rubbed salt, pepper, or even hot pepper into the wounds to intensify the agony. This act was not about correction, but pure sadism. In some extreme cases, enslaved people were buried up to their necks and left to die slowly under the burning sun, or to be devoured by insects and animals. Such atrocities were not random acts of cruelty, they were deliberate tools of terror. The goal was to crush resistance and enforce total obedience. The psychological trauma was as devastating as the physical torment, leaving generations haunted by pain, fear, and silence. The plantation system in Jamaica was not only an economic enterprise, but a regime of horror that sought to destroy the human will